But on Monday, Anita Rani exclusively interviewed BP's new chief executive, Bob Dudley, who's been brought in to save the company's reputation after the Gulf of Mexico oil spill.
Yeah, tonight, Anita looks at the clear-up operation from the air and finds out how the company are trying to salvage their reputation and clear up one of the worst environmental catastrophes in history.
I've spent the last 7 days travelling over 10,000 miles from London to Texas to Florida, where they clean the beaches at night,
to high up over the Gulf of Mexico.
But first, I'm in the state of Louisiana in what is usually a BP training centre. But right now, the US government are using it as their official command centre for the oil spill cleanup operation. Over 1,000 people work here, and one of the top men is Commander Knapp, in charge of cleanup operations.
This is the area of the command post where operations and planning sit, and they are essentially the people who look at the next operational period and conduct the planning for what we're going to do operationally based on the intel that we have, and put it into effect through our branches and offshore resources.
So this is it, basically.
This is it.
This is the command centre. To really appreciate the scale of the task, you have to take to the air.
How many people are involved?
The numbers as I know, there's approximately 46,000 people around the entire Gulf. Out of that, Louisiana has approximately 7,200 miles of coastline. They have as much coastline as the rest of the United States.
And much of that coastline is protected by oil prevention booms.
There's different tactics used for boom. Exclusionary boom is to keep oil out. Deflectionary boom is to move oil one direction. Collection boom is to make it so that the oil pockets up and you can put a skimmer in there.
Despite the well being capped days earlier, there's still plenty of floating oil.
Wow, so all this, that looks two different colours, that's all oil.
That's oil.
And there's even more at the site of the disaster.
The whole of the water is covered in a sheen. It looks like stretch marks, actually.
You do see a lot of vessels and they're operating many different capacities. Some are drill rigs, drilling relief wells, a skimmer off the vessel, and it pump oily water product into tanks.
Commander, is there any limit to the amount of time and money you're prepared to put into this?
What we want people to know is that we're here for the long haul.
I'm heading to meet one of the equally dedicated US fisheries and wildlife teams. Their job is to rescue oil-affected wildlife and is also ultimately paid for by BP.
To date, we've had about 1,500 oiled birds come into our rehab facility. And that's a lot of birds.
After an hour of searching, an oiled pelican at the back of a group is identified, which may die without attention.
The oiled bird is the darkest bird, looks like a juvenile, really dark because his feathers are matted, but you see the rest of the birds, that's the color that bird should be, a lot lighter.
Yeah, a lot lighter. They're crossing the boom, which will disturb the group. If the oiled bird is too weak to fly, then it'll be captured for cleaning. There they go.
The bird was obviously able to fly. It's now located over here on a rock, and so they've abandoned the effort to capture that bird.
I'm quite surprised at how much is going into saving one bird. We've got a boat that's been out here for 3 hours with 5 men on it to catch one animal.
You know, we're not going to stand by and just watch, stand by idly and just watch. We're going to get out there and do something.
That determination is matched at the Fort Jackson Bird Rehabilitation Center. Oiled birds are stabilized and rehydrated to prepare them for cleaning.
The oil disrupts the natural structure of the feathers. The water gets right to their skin and they get hypothermic. They're not able to have buoyancy in the water. They can't fly because the oil's heavy.
So had they not been brought in, the chances of them surviving
would have been nil. What we use is a series of warm water baths with dishwashing soap, and that pretty much lifts the oil off the feathers, and then once we rinse the birds of the soap, the structure of the feathers reknits and they preen a little bit and they're waterproof again. I have worked all around the world on different oil spills, and this is the most heavily damaged environment that I've ever seen.
I'm from the Gulf Coast.
And it's that reality that the BP PR machine must address if it's to turn the tide of public opinion here.
I'm Keith Sayon. I'm in charge of BP's cleanup on the Gulf Coast.
Finally, on to Florida to speak to the man who puts his face to the campaign. So you were there when it all happened.
Yeah, actually, I was at work the night it happened and received the phone call. I was the incident commander on duty. The offshore horizon was in a stressful situation that they were evacuating.
Do you feel a little bit guilty because you've messed this beautiful coastline up?
I work for a company that I'm proud of, but I'm not proud of the fact that we had this incident. It is a bit sobering to have to sit in a town hall knowing that your company created an incident as significant as this.
For now, BP's message is being seen, but for some at least, it'll be a while before it's believed.
It's going to take time, and we may not be perfect every time, but we're going to be here as long as it takes to make this right.
Well, Alice, you were just telling us there that you're from not too far away from where Anita was exploring it. So have you been keeping across the spill yourself?
Well,